Hey, good morning on the chain. What is going on, everybody? What's going on, Chip? Good to see you here. We've got a massive shift happening both in crypto and political fronts. So get ready, buckle in. Big news: Flare just dropped a game-changing phase one. Firelight is live. The FXRP. Don't
Say that 3
mistake
times
that
fast.
for XRP. It's the FXRP for Flare. Can now power a whole new layer of programmable. Try to say that one. Programmable. It's a
It's early.
mouthful. FXRP is programmable
Look, I
security or
you
DeFi. This is the moment people are going to look back on and say, yep, that's where the tide started to turn. That was the big move. But then out of nowhere, the US government, the same one that's been dragging its feet for years, just stepped forward with a government-backed crypto trading platform through the CFTC. What's that all about? We're going to have to dig in. Is it for real? This isn't noise. This is a pivot. And while the crypto world is heating up, the geopolitical world on a global scale and right here at home is melting down. The Walz balls scandal just took a darker turn with fresh allegations of leaked military secrets and Minnesota's fraud cases. And Chip, they just keep piling up. Unbelievable numbers what's going on over in Minnesota, and we're just starting to scratch the surface. Man, the stack is heavy. Let's dig into this, Chip.
Yeah, Jeff, it's kind of like one of those days where crypto innovation and political breakdown absolutely smash into each other. They collide. So on the one side, you've got Flare building real infrastructure that solves real problems. We talk a lot about that on the chain here. And on the other, you got the US government suddenly seeming to be waking up and wanting its own crypto exchange, while national security failures and fraud scandals keep surfacing across the country. And the timing is interesting to say the least. So let's break down what's real, what matters, and what's coming next. All here on the chain. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome everybody on the chain, guys.
Right
Drop
here
where you're coming
on
in from. We
the
see Belgium is in the house as always. Number one in the house. We have Art on the Lake coming in from Hawthorne, Florida. Good morning, Poker Maps. Good morning. Good morning. Greetings from Celebration. Chad, as always, coming in. Good morning, XRP Plumbing. What's going on? He says, what's up? Good morning, fellas. XRP Army. Good day to all. We got Zobers in the house. Beautiful. Got the roster is popping in here, Jeff. That's fantastic. It's good to see everybody jumping in here. Man, we have so much to cover. I think the first story right here is really peak, that finally the Firelight is live. And I got my video or my email invite. I still haven't done it yet. It's like, hey, if you do this and log in and move this, and because there was like a little advantage if you got in on like the sort of like the first ones. You got Pittsburgh, PA's in the house. There you go. Pittsburgh, PA. What a great place. Went to school there. Love the Berg. Love the Berg, man. And we've got what do we got? Yetis. We got a cool Yeti tune as usual, always.
Yes.
But another just slam, man. Gets you gonna have to turn your volume up when that puppy comes on. I'll tell you right now. Here we go, Jeff. So phase one, like you mentioned, a Firelight is live on Flare Networks. Carry the fire to XRP and power DeFi, the next security layer. Deposit FXRP into the launch vault to earn Firelight points. Support the evolution of programmable cover. It's here, man. And it launched on the 3rd. Just we didn't get around to talking about it. It's not like it just launched, but just 3 days ago. So it's live. Officially launched. What does it mean and what does it create? XRP is one of the largest crypto assets by market cap, but until now, it really lacks some kind of a native stacking or yield opportunity. The Firelight staking mechanism is designed to enable staking for XRP holders, providing them with the means to deploy stake assets in a decentralized manner while maintaining liquidity through a liquid staking token, which is the LST, STXRP. Because Firelight's built on Flare, STXRP becomes immediately composable with the rest of the Flare ecosystem, traded across the decentralized exchanges, integrated into the lending markets as collateral, deployed as structured vault strategies, and held as a composable asset for future product. The staked FXRP forms the foundation of Firelight's DeFi cover mechanism. And this is, I got to tell you what's most interesting about this, Jeff. This is Flare This is a Flare making it possible for XRP holders. You want to see you've really never seen this before. We have another chain, you have another, sort of a team heading up that is making XRP usable. I got some stat came out that most people that have XRP are just hodling. They're not doing anything with it. It's just sitting there. And again, you always got to do your due diligence before you're going to stake anything, right? There's risk associated with anything. But the fact that Flare has made XRP stakeable in a DeFi manner is just, it's unbelievable. If I told you this was going to happen 3 years ago, you'd be like, no way. Maybe in the future, but I don't know anytime soon. What are your thoughts on this whole Flare thing? No. Well, before you get into that, I want to say that one of the things they talk about here is over $1 billion lost annually in DeFi hacks. So demand for the kind of protection is additional tangible utility and yield potential. So, and then they go into like how they build on it, but that's another piece of it, because it provides protections for protocols in the event of smart contract exploit, economic risk. So they're really understanding that the whole ecosystem, DeFi has had problems, right? There's been hacks, people have lost. And again, there's not to say that because they've got protections in place, nothing is 100% secure, right? Anything can happen, but people have to do their due diligence before staking any kind of XRP. But the whole idea, the fact that it's here is amazing.
It's really cool. I really like, seeing the opportunities, seeing exactly what's being developed. We haven't really seen, this type of clear cut, real world utility that is solving problems, and it's saying, okay, here's what's going on. Here's where we're at so far with blockchain. Here's how we bridge the gap with traditional finance. Here's how things are going to start working. Here's all the main components that we really have to look out for. And the big thing here, right? It's trust. So moving Main Street into crypto, there has to be a solid trust mechanism. And that trust mechanism is, meaning that in the Western world, not talking about these third world, nations where, even the banking people are in on the thievery. And you hear those stories, whether it was Venezuela or Mexico or elsewhere, where you can't even, bank safely, because if you go to your bank, then when you leave, you're going to be kidnapped. And I've talked to multiple people over the years that were from there, that live in the U.S. now, who were actually kidnapped and held for ransom, for large sums of money, because of the fact of that lack of security. But that's a different story. What we're talking about here from a financial perspective is online thievery, right? So if you're in a DeFi environment and it's so easy to be scammed and stolen from, and then there's no Main Street mechanism that's actually going to serve as a security net, as a protective mechanism, you don't get Main Street adoption. And so that's where we start seeing all these main pieces coming together. And here comes Flare, getting ready to put some of these main trust elements in play in real world. But we're going to need another bigger component, which is closely resembling an FDIC, because if you're going to have your money staked, then it has to be somehow insured and secured by a bigger entity than just the exchange itself. And this is the fear, I think, for Main Street, looking at even in cold storage, if you don't have proper government-backed insurance protocol put in place from a regulatory perspective, then it's still the Wild West. And so this gets back to the point of clear regulatory framework. And right now we still don't even have that, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. And it's good to see that there's movement going on. It's something that's been worked on for a long time. There's more innovation coming to Flare as well. Crypto Navigator, what's up, Chip and Jeff? Been a while since I've seen you guys in the live stream. I'm in the Philippines enjoying life. Well, good, man. I'm glad to hear that.
Great.
Thomas
Cool.
Brennan says something really important here. Cannot believe you guys have less than 30,000 followers. It's just
Exactly.
It is an unjust world. Well, I'll tell you what, the fact is because of the content we do here. And when we started doing geopolitical content, that's when we got shadow banned. And that's when I don't get the alerts. A lot of people get them. I don't get the alerts. And what we've seen happen over the course of like the last couple of months, we've seen people come in here that haven't been here in a while. Now, Crypto Navigator's not been here in a while because, you know, it's probably the times are off, so it's great for you to join us. But what we've seen is people that were really engaged with us a couple years ago are like, oh my God, I just kind of guys fell off the map. I didn't get your alerts anymore. I didn't even know you guys were still doing this and blah, blah, blah. And the whole idea is that, yeah, they went and checked and they got unsubscribed. No, they didn't unsubscribe. So this is another thing. So what we're suspecting is happening here is what YouTube does is they not only shadow ban, but we lose 10, 15, 20 subscribers a week despite all the new people coming in. But it keeps offsetting. If we get 40, then and the next week we lose all of those new people. So we just keep going on a downward trajectory no matter what. So unfortunately, that's how it's been. We ramped up really fast to 25,000 or 26,000. We just keep sliding back. Once we hit that wall, you know, and if you don't think that YouTube does go ahead and shadow ban, they do. I 100% absolutely. I'm just happy we're still on here, to be honest with you. But I mean, it's always going to be a matter of time anyway. I mean, at some point, you'll have to probably go to a different platform, you know, to see what's going on. So we'll see. And guys, type in Yeti because we've got 3 people in the drawing to win a Yeti today. There's Jim D over there. Cool. 5 smart minutes in. We already got Jeff ranting. Of course. That's what you come here for, man. You come here for the rant. That's what it's for. For the opinion. Greeting boys from Northwest Indiana. Greetings to you. KC. Smash those likes. It does help. It does help as well. Yeah. And if you share it out too, it does help a little bit. But really the algorithm does work really well if you do, like, because what happens is if we have 250 or 300 people against all the platforms and we have more than almost 3 times that on who listen to the audio podcast. That's our biggest audience, the audio. So a lot of you guys may be just like, you may be at some point in your commute somewhere or you're riding in your car, your truck, whatever, and you're putting us on. But that's really our biggest audience, which is great. And sometimes I feel bad for them because we play a lot of videos. And that's why you'll hear me describe what's happening, because that's for the audio only listeners. They don't know, they can't see what's happening. So we appreciate all of you guys as well. Thank you for subscribing and listening and taking us with you, because we appreciate you. We don't get to say that enough. So, and those numbers are growing because they're not censored. That's number one. So there is some of that going on. Come here for the rant, stay for the comments. Never disappointed. Very good. Love to hear that. Jeff, something you dropped in the beginning was about the CFTC. Check this out. This is another thing that I thought in our world. When would this actually happen? Well, it's already happening. So look at this right here.
Crypto goes mainstream. The Commodities Futures Trading Commission announcing the launch of the first government-supervised crypto trading platform. It allows.
You're like, what? Wait a minute. What? But did you hear the CFTC? The CFTC, that's going to be the governing body. The only thing that SEC is going to have anything to do with is when it comes to stable coins, right? Because they're still securities. But listen, first of all, get rid of the SEC. It's a useless organization, number one. The CFTC has at least been proven itself to be somewhat viable. All these government agencies, 3-letter agencies, they're all a waste of time. They're all bloated. They all need to be cut back down to size. Get rid of 75% of the people. And they're always crying and shut up already. But let's listen to this again. This is amazing.
Mainstream, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission announcing the launch of the first government-supervised crypto trading platform. It allows Americans to instantly buy, sell, and finance digital assets. Fox Business's Darren Botello live in Washington with all the details. Darren, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Maria. Of course, right now, as we all know, you can buy and sell crypto online already, but this is the first time, like you said, a spot trading platform is getting the full backing of the federal government. So why does this even matter to investors that the CFTC is backing this new Bitnomial platform? These other platforms are legally operating, but here's the catch, Maria. They're often called the Wild West. Basically, it's buyer beware. We've seen this with the collapse of FTX and customers eventually losing out on huge profits they would have had. Their money stayed safe in the market, they would have had it. Now with this Bitnomial platform, there are stricter standards for transparency, security, and consumer protection to prevent an FTX-style collapse. We spoke exclusively with acting CFTC Chairman Caroline Pham ahead of this new platform going live.
Not only do we want Americans to come back home and to be trading here, where they know that they have the protections that they deserve. But again, that means that American companies that are involved in the crypto industry, they're going to want to build here. They're going to want to invest here. They're going to want to hire here. So this is overall a net benefit to the economy.
And Bitnomial tells us ahead of their announcement, the actual launch of the platform is set for next week. Maria?
Pretty big news when you think about it, man. But I think Carolyn Pham should have been they should have made her the chair. As an interim, she's done a great job. And she's somebody who really gets crypto. I mean, they selected somebody really good, but you always wonder why somebody who's really talented and could step up and do the job, then they go like, oh, we're going to get this person. And sometimes they pan out and sometimes they don't. But Pham, you know, as a commissioner she has a track record. It's been 100% pro crypto. You can look at somebody else and say, well, they seem like they're pro crypto, but you almost never know. Case in point, Gary Gensler, you know, had all Jeff and I were wary of him, but only because of the side of the house he came from. But we were wary early on. Gary Gensler, he taught classes at MIT for 3 years on crypto. He's going to.
How many people said that?
I'm like, he's a Democrat, Jeff, a hardcore Democrat. The Democrat Party's anti-crypto. Yeah. Didn't have huge hopes that
he's going to bring crypto to the moon.
To the moon. So there's a lot of talk about wallets out there. We talked about the Anodos Wallet. Anodos Finance rolled out their own version of the wallet. And Jeff, this kind of comes back to what you were saying a little bit earlier about the crypto protections, what we're looking for. And Panos, who we've had on the show, and you know, we're big backers of Anodos, builders that are just doing something really extraordinary. So Panos said somebody had put this up there. He said like, you know, great, another wallet. I'll stick with Zalman. They've been solid. When you create an account, all cryptographic operations happen in Palisades, right? So this was the complaint from this dude right here. Now, Palisades, if you want to know who they are, they just got acquired by Ripple, okay? And Anodos has been working with them for a year to get this thing live. When you create an account, all cryptographic operations happen in Palisades, secure MPC environment, ensuring your wallet private keys never exist in full form. Sounds like my stuff's exposed. Just another secure area. Well, I don't think Ripple acquires Palisade for fun. Okay. So if, you know, I'm just saying, look, man, you know, just saying that I can understand people get a little burnt out and stuff, but what's really important here is Panos kind of brings clarification. He says, you know, this isn't a regular crypto wallet that competes with Zalman or any other wallet. It's not just another wallet you need to download. It's a completely new experience. An embedded wallet intended only for the Anodos apps and products, bringing the Web 2 experience to XRPL. We've been working with Palisade for over a year to bring this solution to life. And as for Palisade, Ripple acquired them for a reason, and saying that they are not secure is insulting. It just shows a lack of research. Palisade has one of the most powerful wallet infrastructures in the industry. It's a highly secure, audited, compliant, and regulated solution. Your private keys never exposed to anything. You can check out more details about it here. And he sends that developers.palisade.co docs. There's no perfect solution, and everything has its pros and cons. If you want a full crypto native control with seed phrase, then go to a regular crypto wallet. For anyone else and for mass adoption, Jeff, this is important because this is what you are highlighting in your mini rant there, that it's all about if people don't use it, who cares if you don't have mass adoption? And for some people, the seed phrase is a heavy burden. Write it down and put it somewhere safe. And then 6 years later, you're like, what the F did I do with that? You know, it's like, I know I put it in a super secure location, so super and secure and secret that I forgot where I put it, or you move or things, shit happens, right? He says for anyone else and for mass adoption, nobody is going to touch any complicated shit. As long as the community and users have many options, it's up to them what they choose. Now focus on bringing the masses to the XRPL. And the way they do it is it's all done on biometrics. So you don't need to know a seed phrase. Now you can import into this Anodos wallet. You can take a seed phrase and import your stuff there. But the whole idea is that you're bypassing that whole seed phrase with the biometrics. Okay. So there you go. You don't necessarily have to have that. So I don't know, man. I definitely want to, my goal is to check that out and to see what is going on with that, because I think it's going to be a good one. I want to see, I wanted to pull this document open here. Let me look at this.
I put everything into the video.
You did?
I put some interesting video clips in there. See if it. We'll see when we play it. It was so last minute, trying to pull the video clips together. We'll see if it flows with the music.
Jeff,
Make
take
it
this
look
take this news
interesting.
take this news story right here as you're drinking your coffee.
So this is interesting, man. I'm loving the direction that I see from Uphold. You know, that's one thing that we've said, you know, from early on with Uphold, mainly because they didn't bow down, you know, when the whole thing was going on with the SEC, with XRP and Ripple and everything. And so it's also one that has been developing, building, looking for ways to provide that security label for people. And so here, what we're seeing, you know, another major step forward towards Main Street. And it's all about Main Street. Like, how do you get more Main Street investment? Because right now everyone's like, when is it going to happen? When is the crypto industry going to take off? When XRP? When all of this? And so one thing that we've seen with Bitcoin has Main Street recognition on a massive global scale, which is pushing the numbers higher. XRP does not have that same recognition as a investment strategy, or you want to put your assets somewhere where you're going to maintain stability and growth beyond what your typical fiat currency hold is going to bring. And over the last decade, what we have seen is that the gain growth, even with the swings with Bitcoin, have been consistently growing. But it's first mover advantage recognized on a global scale. The next step is going to be the other assets and really seeing, okay, these guys are for real. There's stability here, and more attention is going to be necessary. But here with Uphold, and we're seeing it from Coinbase, and we're seeing it from some of the bigger exchanges. But here, Uphold applying with FINRA to offer tokenized securities, and partnered with tZERO to provide trading, clearing, and custody infrastructure. Major step forward. Everyone's talked about it. Everyone's been waiting for it. When do we get to a point where we can start buying tokenized securities? And what exactly is that going to look like? Does that mean that 24/7 we're going to be able to trade Microsoft? I want Microsoft. I want it tokenized. I want it to be, you know, tokenized Microsoft security means that my digital asset now is tied to that security, and I should be able to move it with the rapid speed and simplicity and cost effectiveness as any other crypto asset. So that's the question here. How is that going to function? How is it going to work? But it's an exciting next step to be able to get into tokenized securities. The question, you know, who's going to have access? Is it going to be all Uphold customers, or are you going to have to be an accredited investor? And we'll have to dig through this a little bit further to really see where that goes. But major step in the right direction. Secure custody of tokenized securities, providing on-chain custody and clearing of tokenized securities. tZERO enables Uphold to offer blockchain-based investments with a regulated broker-dealer-led operation and cost structure. Man, that's awesome.
Really, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's great that Uphold's like making this bold step. And, you know, a lot of people criticize Uphold, like, oh, the fees are astronomical. You know, and Art said that he acquired most of his XRP from Uphold. What really brought me to having some loyalty towards Uphold was they were the only ones that didn't cave during the SEC lawsuit. They're like, until we hear it's a security, we're offering it. Everyone else ran like little bitches. You know, Coinbase.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, you know. And meanwhile, it turned out it never was. So it's like cowering to the SEC, the big, you know, bully in the room. And Uphold said nobody went after Uphold. Uphold was still one of the only US platforms that was still selling it, right? Kraken caved. You name them all, they all caved. Coinbase was the first one. And the Coinbase was like, they said, get on your knees and pay us a fine. They said, yes, we will. And then what happened? They got sued again. They paid some fine and they got sued again. Then they stood up. You know, when they stood up, after Ripple spent $200 million in 3+ years defending it, then it made it acceptable. But before that, nobody stood up to the government and said, hey, this is BS. We believe that you're in the wrong. We believe we're in the right. Coinbase was like, oh, you know, we're tough talk, but they weren't really backing it up. So when you see someone like Uphold come out, claim their fees are high, yeah, they're higher than most. again, I would rather deal with some people that I don't know if you fully trust anybody, but people that have integrity and an exchange that's trying to do something great, and they're always trying to do something great for the XRP community. They're very tied into that, but all of crypto, you can purchase it there. So I don't know. That's my flavor of it, and you guys can do what you want with it, but that's what I feel. And then another cool thing. It's so much innovation happening on this one Saturday, Jeff.
Man.
Small Texas lender Monet joins the field of crypto-focused banks. The bank's owned by billionaire Andy Beal, who's a major supporter of U.S. President Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. And this is so it's owned by billionaire political supporter of Trump. You got to put that in everything, right? But
of course, you got to bring that in. That's
got to bring that in, right?
News.
Yeah, because they never mentioned that when billionaire supporter of Biden or when anytime any news broke, right? And so stepped in the field of crypto lenders, building itself as an infrastructure bank with a focus on digital assets. There you go. A focus on digital assets. So you're talking about an infrastructure bank that's basically going to be a crypto bank. Digital assets, whatever you want to call it. So Monet's focused on being the premier digital asset financial institution, providing innovative and forward-facing solutions for the digital economy. Jeff, we talked about this so many times about, the banks, jumping in, the exchanges, follow the money. There you go. Follow the money. Yeah. Though at least $6 billion in assets and slightly more than $1 billion in capital. So this is fantastic. And Scotty had another good comment up here that I wanted to, Scotty, thank you for that. Nice change of studio, Chip. Looks good, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Jeff, really cool. We're working on Jeff's studio now. So Jeff's studio's gonna every once in a while you got to update. So we're working on Jeff's studio. This is the next one to get updated.
Hey Chip, I've got a little snippet here. This is a sneak preview of what the song is going to sound like right here. So.
Tempest. The white tribe storm unleashed.
That bass.
Like that.
Unstable, unbroken. Fearless warriors carved from rage. Prepare for the giveaway. Prepare your Yeti! Prepare! Your summon. Brought to you by badasserycoffee.com. Yeah. Unleash your inner tempest.
Three more.
That's a preview.
Beautiful.
That's a preview. And we're pretty close to getting ready to drop the whole song. So get ready to wake up more, Chad, because it's coming a little harder. It is getting.
We're talking about my Josh Allen bobblehead in the background there. He says, Chip, you're going to have to put Josh Allen in a Miami uniform next year, or two Miami's going to go out. He just signed a brand new $330 million contract. He ain't going anywhere. Ain't happening. If anyone's going anywhere, it's going to be McDermott and Bean, the general manager and the coach, the GM. Got to get them out, man. So we'll see. You get a big game on Cincinnati here. Cookie Monster music. That's what I call it. Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster cookies. Cookie Monster music. Yes, that's exactly right. 100%. So much cool shit happening, Jeff. I can't. David Schwartz jumped into, I love some of his political banter. We like to feature it here. Doesn't always talk about crypto. He likes to jump in. This was interesting, though. I want to get your take on what he said here. So Natalie Lusau, I don't know who she is. Let's see who the hell she is. She's a deputy European secretary of the National International. She's a leftist. That's what it means. That translates to hardcore, hard leftist is what that translates to. Okay. So JD Vance, this is JD Vance. JD Vance puts out rumors swirling that the EU Commission will fine X, this is the platform formerly known as Twitter, hundreds of millions of dollars for not engaging in censorship. The EU should be supporting free speech, not attacking American companies over garbage. Of course, the hardcore leftists, I don't know, she's some political, who knows. These are all nothing positions anyway, by the way.
And when the EU is pretty much an organization.
It's a joke. She says, when European companies do business in the U.S., they abide by U.S. law. U.S. businesses in the EU is very profitable and must respect European law. simple, clear, and hardly disputable, JD Vance. Okay, nothing, Natalie Willisong. Well, David Schwartz weighed in on this topic, and he said, this is true, but nothing to do with the quoted post. If I go to a grocery store in the EU, buy some food, and take it back to the US, can I expect the EU grocery store to comply with US law?
Yes.
What a great what a great way to put that, right?
That's right.
And I love that. It's like, yeah, this is showing how stupid this is. But then again, so somebody,
and what does she actually want? What is she asking that X has to do in
wants
order
to censor people? They want
Right.
X to censor people is what they want X to do.
Nice.
And X says, go F yourself.
Exactly. They can go.
Elon
F
Musk is going to
themselves.
do. I ain't got time for. No one got time
Nobody
for
has
that.
time for the EU. No one has time for the bullshit over in the
No
EU.
one has time for that. Who gives a shit? Listen, and JD Vance is saying just support free speech. What's the problem? Meanwhile, in Germany, they're throwing people in jail because they're speaking out against the government.
Yeah, and
So
the UK. And if it wasn't for the US, there would be no existence of the EU right now. So get with the program. Get with it.
Joke.
We're the
He
center.
says that this is very basic and important principle, without which freedom of speech on the internet dies. Imagine if you could create a website without researching, complying with the laws in every country which your website might possibly be accessed. This is a great point, again, that David Schwartz is making.
Yes, very basic. It's very basic. Screw the EU, screw censorship, freedom of speech. We're the bastion of freedom. And if the EU doesn't want to get on board, the hell with you. Screw you. We're going to keep supporting freedom. We have a constitution. You can go screw yourselves. That's what we say to the EU. We're not abiding by your bullshit. We didn't abide by it in World War I. We didn't abide by it in World War II. So you can go to hell. So I mean, what else? And this is coming. This is the US. And we're fixing all of our problems. Thank God the EU tentacles are out of our political system, because the EU was pulling the US so far to the left, and it's time for the EU to finally collapse. The UK had pulled out. The EU needs to go away, and it needs to be relegated to the history dustbin, and we never need to hear from it again. Get rid of the euro, get rid of the EU, forget about it, put your borders back up, respect your national identities, and don't bow down and kowtow to some artificial European Union that you guys put together. Even the concept of the union, I mean, why even use that in your name? It's a union of countries that have now shed their own identities, and you become one mix of what you don't even stand for anything anymore. All it is a pain in the ass entity, and it's just spirit crushing. It's like, get rid of it. Enough already. I mean, it's like, come on. That's what we have.
You basically delegated. So you have what you call democracy. You actually vote for your leaders, but then you relegated all that to Brussels so that they can decide for you. Unelected officials are going to tell you what the rules are. No, go F yourself. Hungary said it. Poland said it. They're like, our borders are closed. You don't like it, pound sand. We don't give an F. That's what they basically said. So Schwartz goes on to say some more about this. He basically says, so somebody says, Gabriel says, well, U.S. customs don't allow you to bring any food. And then Schwartz responds by saying they generally restrict meats, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, and dairy products, but everything else is fine. Your bag of Doritos or your can of Diet Coke, good to go.
Good to go.
Good to go.
And it's mainly because of things that might be brought in.
Take this one, Jeff. Take this one.
Which one are we looking at? David Schwartz over here. If I set up a website for a U.S. newspaper in the U.S., I don't have to comply with any of Namibia's laws, even though someone from Namibia might access it. And that's the whole point. Let us spread our freedom of thought and our freedom of speech. People around the world want it. If you want to censor it and block it in the EU, that's your prerogative. And you know what? What we're going to get is more brain drain. You guys can import all the people you want from Africa and everywhere else. You want to bring all the, terrorist supporting countries into your countries, and you want to destroy what you have left of the first world instead of trying to help third world developing nations actually develop after the Europeans, crushed, destroyed, and decimated, people throughout that region. Think about all the colonialism that went on, even up through World War II, and you think about the trauma that the European nations between France, Germany, and England caused around the regions. And and what, now you're guilty of it, and you're feeling your own guilt, and so you want to bring all these people into your countries instead of saying, hey, you know what, maybe we should just help them develop their own countries and bring them into the 21st century. But they're so ass backwards over in Europe. I mean, just everything that's going on right now, the whole thought process from a political perspective, you're destroying your people. Support your people, support your countries, support what's good for you. Thank God, over here, because we can speak out. Imagine if they had their way, David Schwartz wouldn't be able to say what he said. And if he did say it, does that mean that we're now subject to your crazy laws over in the UK? So now you want to come over here and try to arrest us for having freedom of speech? I mean, what nonsense. These politicians, typically most of them over in Europe, have a silver spoon in their mouth to begin with. They've never lived a real life, a day in their life. And just done. We're so done with them. We don't even hit a lot of polluted noise in our.
It is. And Jeff, I have these nut jobs from the leftist labor supporters. One of them even left the country and lives in Spain now. What's funny to me is that they're always talking about your politics, and one of them came in and was saying like, "Oh, you're done in the midterms. The Republican Party's over. You're not winning any elections." I'm like, dude, we just won one of the biggest elections in Tennessee. Okay, well, we were supposedly down 22 points, but no, won by 9 percentage points. So what are you talking about? I'm like, so this is what, and I'm like, so wait a minute, let me get this straight. Blue candidates won in blue states, got it, okay, but they were like, oh my God, this is monumental. They were like really going off about how great it was. I'm like, what are you talking about? And these same people, I'm like, okay, so we've got freedom of speech here. That's the First Amendment. The Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. It doesn't say pistols. It doesn't say ARs. It says arms. I can get a cannon. That's my arms. I have a cannon off my back deck. How do you like that? It's ready to fire in your direction. And I'm like, and meanwhile, Starmer is turned into the biggest pussy in the world. And this little dirtbag is like, oh, we have freedom of speech. We have freedom of speech. Not freedom of speech, throwing people for putting a meme up. And I said, let's test it. Let's see you criticize Keir Starmer right here. Come on, I'll wait. I put the crickets up. I wait. Come on. Let's see you criticize him. No, you won't, because you're a pussy and your ass is going to jail. That if you try to get back into the UK, you're not getting in. Why? And I said, I can criticize them all day long, and I do. And here's some of the things that I've criticized them on. And nothing happens to me. Nothing happens to me. But it's crickets from the other side, Jeff. These losers. I want to talk about the king of memes right here. XArt is the king of memes. Half the memes we play on here that are Ripple focused or XRP focused are from XArt. I want to do a giant shout out. One of the best, hands down, a meme king of memes is what I call XArt, because they put out the best. They put out this post yesterday. This December marks 5 years since the SEC lawsuit against Ripple began. And back then, many in the crypto community laughed, didn't expect it would lead to real legal clarity. Jeff, we said it might be the fastest path to legal clarity. Were we right? Yes.
Right in the beginning, right from day one.
Right from day one. Go review the tape. We said from day one, this may be the fast. I know it's uncomfortable. It may be the fastest path to legal clarity. It was. Guess what? We never thought it would take 3+ years. We thought it would be over like a year.
Yeah.
Wrong about the time frame, but definitely right about the outcome. People said there would be a settlement. We said there would never be a settlement. That's what happened when you follow these losers out there. But
You're right.
After witnessing how the challenge helps shape more path forward. And here it is right here. Here's the video they put out. This is fantastic.
Get out the way, bitch, get out the way. I said move.
XRP Army laughing.
Get out the way, bitch, get out the way. Whoa.
All right, so I'll talk about what's happening here. It's Brad Garlinghouse in his Lambo at a stoplight. And who's there but Gary Gensler clutching his, what is he clutching here? He's clutching his briefcase. He's cold. He's just in the middle of the crosswalk. And you got Garlinghouse revving his engine. Of course, you got a bitch, get out the way, bitch. And you got two little guys that are representing the XRP Army. They push him out of the street. And then Brad salutes the XRP army is what's happening here. So this is a great meme here.
Get out the way, bitch, get out the way. I said move.
XRP army laughing at Gary
Get out
Gensler.
the way, bitch, get out
They
the
push
way.
him out the way.
Whoa.
Brad salutes him.
It's on their shirts. See if you can scroll back. See if there's anything on their shirts.
I did do a close up of the one. Let's see. It says, does it say XRP army on it? There it is. Oh, F the SEC is what it says.
That's great. Look at that.
That was
Oh
the
my
Bearable
God.
Bull. I think they made those shirts. F the SEC. I think that was him. Somebody made those, but yeah, then they're saluting back the XRP army. Just fantastic, man. Gotta love XR, man. Does some amazing.
Hey, with
amazing
that
work.
Chip, it is that time. Get your Yetis ready. Get ready for the song because
Roll.
this is going to blast your eardrums. If you like it loud, turn it up because here we go. Get ready for this one. I think Chip froze. Chip, are you there? I think we lost Chip. He froze up. Totally frozen.
I froze
And
up
there
for
he
a
is.
second there.
Oh, Fabio.
I was like, it's either you or me. And I was like, once I saw you start spinning and me spinning, I was like, I don't know what happened. Some glitch in the matrix happened there.
It was a glitch. But now that you're back, get ready for this. Here we go.
Go.
On Tempest. The White Tribe storm unleashed. Unstable, unbroken. Fearless warriors carved from rage. Prepare for the giveaway. Prepare your Yeti. Prepare your Zaman. They charging with a mind unchained. Wild hot thunder running straight through their veins. Roaring, snarling, chaos in the snow. When the tempest hunts every enemy, no blood on their teeth and frost in their roar. White Tribe fury kicks down every door. Claws flash bright like lightning in a storm. They tear foes limb from limb. That's the tempest form. No fear, no mercy tonight. When the blizzard wakes, you do not survive the fight. Tempest, tempest, White Tribe wrecks the night. Tempest, tempest, rage for a frozen light. Snow screams, the battlefield shakes. The tempest leave nothing in their wake. Badass Yetis on the chain. It's on the chain. Brought to you by badasserycoffee.com.
Yeah. Whoa. That was a banger, man.
There you go.
Yeah, these videos
Try
are
to
getting more and more
put all
fun to
the
make.
little videos in there. Videos are awesome.
His Lara Croft outfit, creepy Yeti. We got 13 in here, guys. Lucky number 13 in here. Fantastic. Beautiful, guys. Beautiful. Beautiful, I say. Here we go. Matt Walsh posted this.
Quite cheekier.
Somebody put, so A-Boom put up this thing that says whites are jealous because they can't compete with Somali excellence. They put out a video about how great Somalia was, blah, blah, blah. And Matt Walsh said, the average IQ in Somalia is 68, which is below the line for mental retardation. 7 out of 10 Somalians live in poverty. The per capita GDP is $1,000. USA is 90,000. Somalia does not have a functional waste management system. The tallest fully constructed building in the country is 10 stories. So where is the Somali excellence exactly? And our old pal, Jeremy Kaufman, who lost to the SEC with his library company, who is a staunch, conservative, more so probably libertarian. He said, it's not intuitive to understand just what it means for Somalia to have an average IQ of 68. So let's break it down. With an IQ of 68 or below, the average Somalian, over half of the country would be considered too disabled in America to be eligible for the death penalty. At this level, someone will struggle to understand the cause and effect of basic things. Even filling out forms would be difficult. At 1 standard deviation, SD, up from 68, we have the IQ of 83. Around 1 in 6 Somalians have an intelligent enough to be below average janitor. This is the level of intelligence of poor urban areas in America. At 2 standard deviation, we're at 98, or roughly the average intelligence of America. Around 2% of Somalians will be as intelligent as your average high school classmate and could be clerical workers or cooks. 2%, okay? At a 3 standard deviation, we're at 113. This is approaching territory where useful, creative, and STEM work can be done. For example, engineering. This is about 1 out of 1,000 Somalians. At a standard deviation 4, we're at 128 IQ. These are the people who will come across as bright in your interactions with them, but still won't be gifted. They can perform almost high-status professions. There are only around 750 Somalians in the entire country that are this intelligent out of a population of 18 million. At a 5 deviation, we're at 143 IQ. We're in gifted and potentially genius territory. There are people who can invent, create, contribute to the highest level. There are 5 of them out of 18 million in the entire country of Somalia. So I think what's lost on a lot of these people is you're talking about, I mean, a lot of it has to do with inbreeding, but this is not a good thing when you have a culture and a population that can't even grasp simple things. It's not good for anybody, and certainly nobody would look forward to that. But you can't talk about excellence when your 50% of your population is almost like borderline retardation, what would considered anywhere else in the world. So it's a very, very sad thing, Jeff. I mean that this is occurring, but the better position would be like, what can we do to help Somalians? With schools and learning, and how do we bring that IQ up? How do we help Somalians to better themselves, right? To become a better country of better people. It's not that you're putting down the people itself, but talk about helping the people. Like talking about it and criticizing and saying it's great, it's fine, but it's not the reality. And the reality is, if you really want to help Somalia or Somalians, what are you going to do to contribute? And if you're an expat and you've left Somalia, what are you going to do to help your ex-country do better? And I don't see a lot of that being talked. Everyone's just saying it's great. Well, it's not great. That's not what the facts are supporting. How do we make Somalians better? How do we help them? How do we put schools in, or what kind of conditions? It's not their fault. I mean, they're growing up without education. None of this is good. None of this is good for any country. Certainly not good for Somalia. And if you're not helping if you're not helping the country, Jeff, you're just contributing to more downfall, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, a big part of it also is we really start thinking about that development, and how do you boost IQ levels? How do you help people getting rid of inbreeding, but education, surround people by education, create an environment where, we can start seeing development of at least pushing forward to be, more functional in society. But it's amazing to me, when you start doing a cross section in the impoverished areas, why is it so low in certain areas? Why is it significantly, higher in others? How do you keep, pushing and developing, and we really need to, emphasize and focus on that. But if you have people that will continue to be tribal, and you're going to have, war between tribes, because it's just inherent within the culture over generations. And, how do you break that? But then does there have to be, an entity that steps in to say, hey, here's how we're going to structure the infrastructure. Here's how we're going to set everything up within society, and with that level, can these people, if they can be laborers, then that means who do you have overseeing the labor? Who do you have, building out the plans for the infrastructure? If you have the workers on the ground to build it, then they have to live in it. We need to see that there's attracting more and more intelligence to the region, from an IQ, but basically from a structural perspective. And they have to really think about it from a top down, bottom up perspective in order to put these countries back on track. And then you have to look at the root cause. And if it gets back to safety, security, and tribalism, how do you break up clans and tribalism? How is that even distinctly possible? And who's going to step in and say, we've had enough of it? The UN's not going to do it because the UN feeds it. The UN's a useless organization that has destroyed countries, never helps countries. Then if the Europeans come down there, then all of a sudden it's colonialism and nation building. So you know what? Don't come here, stay in your country. You don't want anybody's help, forget about it. We don't want to help either, but we don't want you coming to
Forget about it.
Bringing your shit over here, and a big part of the issue also is that those that typically immigrated before, I'm not talking about now with mass immigration, because with mass immigration, they're just bringing everybody, the lowest common denominator, they're bringing over into Europe and everywhere else. But before, those that could immigrate were in the upper echelon because they came to whether it was Europe or they came to the US because they came in search of their opportunities, whether it was going to be university or it was going to be business building. And that's why they came over. And then all of a sudden the rest of the, groups follow them up. But that initial brain drain, that's a big part of it. So how do you bring, that level back to the university educated, say, okay, now it's your time, because they don't want to go back there. Why would they want to go back to that?
Oh,
Probability they're killed. There's
free money here, Jeff.
Yeah. And now you're bringing all the lower income bracket and the lower intelligence coming over here, but they don't even have an opportunity to work. There's nothing they can even do over here. What are you going to do with that kind of low IQ? And what kind of earning opportunity and potential are they going to have? They can't even really think, to orchestrate, like, how can I set up a business? How can I structure? But that's what they're going to have to do. You see a lot of people coming from South America and they do things that others won't do, from a, construction perspective. You see them, with cleaning, they'll do office cleaning, they'll set up businesses, and they become successful, setting up businesses, cleaning homes, cleaning offices, and it's stepping stones. So then the next generation is going to do better because now they're building a base for their kids to get educated, go to school, and then go to the next level. And then the level of education and intelligence also increases as you put them in and expose them to all these opportunities, and it's such a tragic set of affairs, but mass immigration is not the solution. It's exactly the opposite of the solution.
Yeah. Go help countries, meet them where they are, go help them be better. I mean, this makes more sense. And why don't preserve Somali culture where it is? I mean, it's not about spreading the culture everywhere. It's like nobody wants that. I mean, we saw the British Empire attempt that. Started out great, and it didn't work out so well in the end. Ended up at a Rock Island. So it's like everybody wants their country. Everybody wants their own culture. Like, make that country better. So make, if you say, like, to make this country great, every country should be thinking about that. Crypto Whelp says, hey, Chip, how did you shrink the lemon tree? Well, it's a different lemon tree, number one. So the other lemon tree I had to take out because it wasn't doing so well. It was getting a little bit, you got to water these bad boys, it turns out. But it wasn't, I put it out in the sun. It wasn't so good. So I got another one to fit better on the set. So there you go. There's your answer right there. Yeah, part of the Build Back Better, 100%.
Build back.
Yeah, well, thank God it's not a religious thing. Well, of course it's not.
No.
Crypto Wolf says my IQ is sky high compared to a jellyfish. Well, I don't know what the jellyfish is. Jeff, this is a pretty
intelligence level of a jellyfish.
This is a pretty good campaign launch video, Jeff. I want to get your take on it. I want to hear from you guys what you think. Is this a good campaign video launch here? This is Josh Sheeter. Let's go.
Yes, I think we can all agree that it's about time that trans people had more representation in public office. For too long, we've had our rights trampled on and discarded by right-wing mega conservatives. So that's why today I made the brave decision to be the first person of color to run for public office who's also trans Down syndrome. So what that means to everyone out there that's not familiar with the term is my parents' bigoted doctor assigned me normal at birth, but I identify as having an extra copy of chromosome 21. And as you all know, our chromosomes don't dictate our disability. Our personal identity does. So I'm making a vow to you today to appoint other trans people to my cabinet if I'm elected. I'm going to appoint my colleague, Tim Walz, who's trans retarded, to oversee the American with Disabilities Administration. And I'm also going to appoint my colleague, Candace Owens, who's trans TBI, to oversee some of the more complicated matters when it comes to people with disabilities. So I want you all out there to know that the glass ceiling that's been keeping us down for so long has finally been shattered. And today we celebrate the dawn of trans rights. Wish me luck, guys.
Makes a really strong point there, Jeff. I mean,
Oh my God.
people look at this stuff and say, "Oh, that's ridiculous." Is it? Is it? I mean, can he be trans? Down syndrome, missing chromosome number 21. Can't and his damn bigoted doctor assigning him normalcy at birth. What a bigot! My God, this just to show you just how ridiculous these are. And then when you play it back to people, they're like, "Oh, that's not right." It's exactly what we're seeing, man. Just it's done in an over the top manner, but yeah, vote for Corky. Corky, remember Corky? That show, Corky. God, that's and Jeff. The Democrats never cease to amaze me. Like, I almost think, like, do you actually believe your own bullshit? I don't know if they do. Like, I know they get out and say a bunch of words, but I start thinking at a root level. Do you really believe this? Do you know how stupid you sound? Well, case in point, Jeff, listen to this statement by a Democrat.
Undocumented is not a crime. It's a point I've been making a lot lately, especially as Trump and the Republicans continue vilifying immigrants in every way, shape, and form that they can. But Republicans and some people online are getting very upset with me for saying this. So I want to explain. The act of being present in the United States.
She wants to explain. She doesn't understand the first rule of holes. When you're in one, you stop digging. No. Let me go further, Jeff. Let me explain.
For that legal status is not standing alone a crime.
Jeff, who wants to tell her that coming into the country illegally is a crime? And this is a popular tactic that the left makes. They say immigrants. No. Don't be broad spectrum. We love immigrants. We love legal immigrants. We love people to come in and want to contribute and make this country better, right? That's what we love people like that. My wife is an immigrant, right? She came in and she's productive member of society. We love people who do it legally, and people that spend 2, 3, 4 years coming in legally. Why are somebody that walks across the border or somebody else that comes here illegally, why are they better? No. Go back. Trump gave everyone a chance that if you self-deport, you have a chance to come back here legally, okay? They never mentioned that part of it, Jeff. It's illegals, and they call them, this is another popular tag, undocumented, because they don't like the word illegal. Well, the whole reason they're called illegal is because they've entered the country illegally. There's not a country on the face of the planet that doesn't have harsh punishment for people that come in. We played that video last week that talked about what happens if you're caught illegal in India, what happens if you're caught illegal in China. 6 months in hardcore jail, man, and then you get deported, right? So this her talking about standing alone is not a crime. Does she think she really believes this, Jeff? I don't know. I'm wondering at this point. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I just don't know. I mean, it's hard to understand that she believes. Listen to this again.
Being undocumented is not a crime.
Being a Democrat might be a crime. And I always say, Jeff, like, listen, people are like, oh, they get rant and rave. I'm like, listen, never interrupt your enemy when they're in the process of destroying themselves. You're like, really? Tell me more about this not being undocumented, not being a crime, coming in the country undocumented. It sounds great. Well, I'm just undocumented. Do you have documents? No, I don't. I'm undocumented. Okay. Are you here illegally? Yes, I am. It's a crime. Get your ass out of here. Done. You had a chance to self-deport and come in legally.
So there's two parts to that, right? Number one, if you're in the U.S. without legal documentation it's a civil matter. So what normally happens when you get caught, if you're here illegally, you get deported, right? It's very, very clear. You're not going to jail for a long period of time. You're going to get rounded up and you're getting shipped out back to the country you came from because you're in the country illegally. It's a civil matter. You come back into the country the second time without being without permission, and you're caught undocumented, previously being deported, which has happened in many occasions with these individuals. That is now a felony. So, and that felony it would include fines and imprisonment. So you get your first opportunity, you come here, you're caught violating immigration law, you're deported, and that's it. It's a very short path. You don't get to stay here, nothing like that. It's you're gone. You get to get shipped out of here. Now, if you commit a crime while you're in this country illegally, now you're talking about something completely different. And now we're seeing people that are here illegally and committing crimes to begin with, and people that are here that have not been vetted. It's time to be escorted right to the border. And there you go.
As Jim D says, I finally figured out AOC shtick. She turns all fake news into a parable style of moral teaching, so exempt myself from lying. Very good call right there. Chad says calling an illegal alien an undocumented immigrant is like calling a drug dealer undocumented pharmacist. Oh, where's our bottom? Well, we need it, Jeff.
Yep, that's
solid, man. This is why I love this community. Solid. Art says, yeah, spot on. Sandy, the bartender. So let's go to Tim Walz.
People out.
So about Tim Walz here. Yeah, they're all. So it's
spoken to a couple of people that served with Tim Walz in Nebraska in that guard unit, and they suspect, and we've done stories and tried to reach out to Walz for comment, but they suspect that perhaps he took their standard operating procedure, the SOP, for the howitzer army tank. He was assigned to this tank. It was nuclear capable, and this was all laid out in the SOP that goes missing while he's there. And
the manual goes missing?
Right, and they had talked to the FBI about this as well. There's so many questions.
What does that mean? Why did they talk to the FBI?
They think that he was traveling back and forth from China at this time, and then we also know that this howitzer...
Wait.
I know I sound crazy right now.
No, you don't sound crazy at all. You're recounting the facts.
Yeah.
You are saying that men he worked with in the National Guard in Nebraska went to the FBI because they believed he had given classified military secrets to the Chinese government?
They suspect that he did. And
well, they suspected to the point that he went to the FBI.
Well, this was all when all these stories are coming out finally about his background, and they're like, maybe we should talk about this. These are guys that back then didn't report this. This was in the early 90s, and they always talked about it amongst themselves. And I think that they weren't completely aware of, the potential threat something like this could pose, but they always thought this was very strange. And then China started producing almost a carbon copy of this military tank a couple of years later.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. They hate America. They hate the United States. They always talk about the Constitution. If they had a chance, you get into a war and you got conquered. This is their goal. They get into a war, get conquered. Oh, we surrender. There goes the Constitution. Sorry. This is how they do it. Well, it's getting even weirder. What's going on with this whole thing? People are Tampon Tim is a traitor. Absolutely. And it's so funny to put him on the national stage. Now he gets all this heat, and he's so in Panicville right here. But listen to this, Jeff. We thought it was $1 billion, right? This whole heist of, abusing taxpayer money with all this huge scandal. Listen to this.
Investigators are finding in Minnesota is growing by the day. Kelly Loeffler, who leads the Small Business Administration, says in the 2 days her agency has been investigating the state, they've uncovered at least $1 million in PPP fraud just 2 days in. Several of the whistleblowers in Minnesota have also told lawmakers they believe the total amount of fraud could total up to more than $8 billion. Governor Tim Walz, who is up for re-election, is under fire for all of this happening under his watch. But he says they have paused these programs. They've brought in outside auditors to get an idea of how far-reaching this fraud was. They're taking steps to keep it from happening again. And he's defending his management of the state while also taking shots at Republicans and the president.
Of course.
And in spite of the headwinds we're up against, Minnesota ranks economically, economic growth, happiness, number of people insured, education levels.
What panic looks like, Jeff, right here.
Near the very top. So I'll tell you what, I have no interest in having this state look like Oklahoma or Mississippi. And if folks are going to commit crimes here, thinking because our generous spirit and our programs that we have is going to give them some kind of cover, they are sadly mistaken.
Yeah,
The only reason they're doing it now, Jeff, is because they got caught with the hand in the cookie jar. It's the only reason. This guy doesn't give a rat's ass. He was told years ago, back to 2021, they reached out to Harris talking about this fraud allegations. He tried to silence whistleblowers. Well, Stephen Miller weighs in on this. And of course, Stephen Miller goes full-blown, Stephen Miller every time he gets a chance. I love this guy.
Based on what we have found so far, we believe that the Somali fraud operation in Minnesota is the single greatest theft of taxpayer dollars through welfare fraud in American history. We believe that we have only scratched the very top of the surface of how deep this goes. And you're familiar with all the scams with pretending that children have autism who are not in fact autistic, with pretending to enroll people in food programs when in fact nobody was ever enrolled, and engaging in massive fraud, lying, and theft and grift on a scale we've never seen before in American history. The total bill, the total tab for this is going to be far beyond the numbers we've already seen reported. We believe the state government is fully complicit in this scheme, and we believe that what we are going to uncover is going to shock the American people. Look, based on the records that we already have, this is a significant undercount, by the way. 75% of the Somali population in Minnesota is on welfare, but that's likely a significant undercount of.
So it's great when you get to leave your shithole country, which you're not interested in rebuilding or helping or make succeed, to come here and have a great life while regular Americans are struggling, people that, have lived here. What about the legal immigrants that come in here and they work their asses off? What about the people that came to this country to build businesses and they employed people? What about these immigrants who are doing everything right? And you got these, many of them illegal. They come in, they want to live off like 75%. And Stephen Miller's saying, quoting these numbers, they already know. They already know
just how much of a financial burden the Somali refugee population is imposing on this country. Based on what we...
It's massive. It's a massive number.
It's huge.
The fact that this is all being uncovered, the other part of it is now the Democrat fundraising is at all-time lows. They don't have the money. It's very bizarre when you looked at different Democrat campaigns, and immediately they had an injection of a ridiculous sum of money, each and every one of them. Where did the money come from?
USAID.
Where was ID? Remember during Obama, there was a record number of untracked credit card donations, $25, $50, not just credit card, right? Gift card, credit card donations. So it was very unusual. It rose to the level of being unusual. No way to track it. But it also fell under, now every donation has to be tracked to an individual. But then I forget exactly how they kind of swept it under the rug, that maybe it was under the threshold. It was $25, whatever it is. But it's crazy to see exactly what's been happening and the level of fraud and corruption amongst all of these different Democrat organizations or organizations that back Democrat candidates, and what's coming to light, the fraud, the deception, the fraudulent money, the theft from taxpayers. And it's going to such an extreme level. You think about even, Black Lives Matter, how they got caught out, the leadership funneling all sorts of money into buying expensive homes and cars and things like that. But this that was easy to track. This is easy to track too, if they really wanted to do it years ago. Look how fast they're uncovering all this information. And imagine that Walz was like a breath away from presidency. Had they, and there's no way they were going to get elected. But imagine that, the two crazies would have, we had a brain damaged individual that was serving as president. And then we would have had completely, unhinged individuals that just have zero brain cells that would have been running. It's crazy to me to see how the left chooses these vacant, brain dead people and they elevate them to levels. Look at, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, another good example over here in Broward County. The woman is not intelligent. I can't tell you how many times over the years, I've had an opportunity to engage with her. It's been a number of years since I even wanted to engage, but it's amazing to me how little she actually knew about a sitting congressperson that is clueless on active events nationally and globally, and wouldn't even take the time to educate herself on stuff. And we had called her out years ago at her own town hall meeting. And then directly after we called her out on it, her people or henchmen came over to us and said, "Oh no, she misunderstood the question." I was like, "But how did you misunderstand 3 or 4 questions from different parts of the room? And each one of them she misunderstood," right? Because there's so much corruption and shenanigans that go on such a high level. And we're seeing it all unfold in Minnesota in real time. Wait till they start going to Dearborn and seeing exactly the corruption in Michigan, all the way up to the level of the governor's mansion. Let's see what's going on there. Let's see what's going on in New York State, all the way, let's see what's going on at the governor level. Let's go then to Arizona. Let's go around the country and go state by state by state. And let's see the deception and the dishonesty of how they even ran their elections. It's crazy to me, right? We just have to see all of this. It's going to start. Minnesota will collapse. Michigan narrative will collapse. And then one by one, these are some big names that they're going to take down. And hopefully they actually take them down. I want to see these people go to jail for what they've done. Would be a big step.
Yeah,
big
100%. And you mentioned brain dead Biden and that little rant you had here. Yeah. And let's just so for everybody can remember, let's watch this. This is Biden attempting to remember what the which country the United States is all about.
Just have to get up.
Let's see.
As long as we keep the faith, summon hope, we get back up and remember who in the hell we are. We're the United States of America. Got it. That's who we are. We're the U.S.
United States of America. Got it. What the hell's that, Jim?
America got it.
What the hell's that?
Got it.
That's who we are. We're the U.S. And there's nothing. The United States of America. Got it. That's who we are. The United States of America. The United States of America. States of America. States of America. America got it. America got it. America. America. America got it.
What's America got it?
Who knows? What is he reading there on the teleprompter? American.
America got it. I don't know.
America got it.
What a freak, Jeff. And before we get out of the Minneapolis whole thing and the story of Minnesota, I just wanted to play an important message from the Minneapolis police. Here we go.
أنا أيا كعاونا وحي أردنا سميس وافهم صوما أرنت كلا كسر حكتة وحيت هاي.
This is not AI, Jeff. This is the whatever they're speaking Somali because half the police force is Somali in Minneapolis. You got the mayor standing next to him and some other dude in the police who's pretending that he's interested in what this dude's saying. Now this is now I understand if you get up like this happens in Miami, you get up and they'll say a message in English, but then they'll say it in Spanish, right? Sometimes like you might have some of that, but most of the time it's English. But the fact you get up there and start speaking Somali as a police officer, somebody did translate this. It's not like anything worth listening to. But what is this, Jeff? This is ridiculous. Don't speak English. Get F out. I'm sorry. If I go to France, they expect me to speak French, I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. Here's another story that is interesting and worth noting. Valentina Gomez, who we love here, we play a lot of her videos. She does not sugarcoat anything.
Yep.
But I wanted to, she was on Piers Morgan. She had this to say. She went full blown Stephen Miller here. Listen to this.
Apologize for nothing. My statements and my actions have endured the test of time. And Piers, since you cut me off, let me finish. You've been on national television for 20 years, and during that entire time, England has only gotten more Muslim. For 20
When were
years,
you last in England?
To even say faggot or to even call out the rapist Muslims. Piers, you're not uncensored. The truth is, you have been complicit with the rape of England into its submission. It's
Really?
not only on Keir Starmer, it's also on you, on
Really?
the police and on the courts that have covered up for their crimes. Absolutely. And I'll say
Really?
what everybody else is thinking. England is better off without all the Muslims. And that goes the same way to the United States. We can solve all of our problems if these Muslims are sent back to their Sharia nations, because they're not here to
Oh, really? You
assimilate
think there would be
to
no
the
problems?
American or the
You think
British.
you'd have no?
Piers, let me
You think
finish.
you'd have
Let me
no?
finish,
Just to be
boy.
clear.
Finish, boy. She says, "Let me finish, boy." That's too much, right? So, I mean, Valentina, she's something else, man. I don't know. I hope she has protection because she really goes full bore.
Yep. New York City got busted for that.
Yeah, they
have
absolutely
guys
did.
around. Yep.
They absolutely did. Look at this here. So this
That
is their
nonsense.
statement. I will never let these Muslims take over America like Piers Morgan did with England. They murder our soldiers, burn our churches, rape our women, and they call you an Islamophobe for pointing this out. Piers defends Muslim invaders with more than his own people, and they're going to prison for posting a meme. And then Piers said this: "You're a disgusting bigot, and ironically, a migrant to the U.S. who should be deported yourself for fueling racial hatred. It's shameful that the Republican Party is letting you represent it in the 31st congressional district in Texas. I hope real Donald Trump stops you." So you couldn't be more obvious in your statement of supporting what she said about censorship than attempting to censor somebody in another country, Jeff. This is like so rich and so many, has so many facets to it. You're bigoted and ironically a migrant. No, she imported legally, Piers. She's not an illegal migrant. So this is another term the left likes to use. Migrants. Migrants. They just migrate to places. Well, guess what? Migrate your ass right out of here. Should be deported for fueling racial hatred. Racial. See, everything's racial now. It's always racial. So the fact that she's Hispanic, they want to call her, now she's racial? She's Hispanic. She's a minority herself, right? There's, you have the black population in the United States, I think it's like 13%. Right around 13-14%. The Hispanic population in the United States is somewhere around 16-17%. She is a minority, and now he's calling her, she's fueling racial hatred because she's a migrant. No. She came in, she's legal, she's an immigrant, but she's a legal immigrant, and she's Hispanic. So you're calling out this Hispanic woman for being racial? This is, and then you start talking about, I hope they stop you. I hope they censor you. This is unbelievable, man. It really is.
That's it.
That is right, Chad. That is 100% right. It is absolutely not. And I thought that was pretty incredible, man. I mean, holy cow. I'm like, what is wrong with this woman? You know who Tim Burchett is? He does these daily vlogs where he's talking about what he's doing, what he's up to. And I love him, but he sets this leftist straight here, Jeff. Let's listen to this.
Let's watch this because it's so funny.
Harry, do you trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
Do you trust your mother every night to fix your hot pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on?
Oh my God. That boy he was like, you saw the life come out of his face. He thought he was getting some big thing. I'm going to get this great video and I'm going to put Burchett on it, right? This is great. I'm going to watch this again.
Oh, that's so awesome. Oh my God.
It's so funny.
Harry, do you trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
Do you trust your mother every night to fix your hot pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on?
Please stop. I didn't even know what to say at that point.
He was just like, the life force went out of his face. That was the greatest thing ever. That was fantastic. Oh my God.
All right. Hey, Chip, it's coming up on that time. It's an hour 18 that we're in. Now's a good time to get everybody fired up one more time for the drawing of the badass Yeti.
Got 15 guys.
That's a guy right there. This is a badass Tempest right there. Look how
shit. Click on it. Click on it, Jeff. Click on it.
Here. Look at that.
Damn.
Graphic. Look at that face.
Oh my
Man.
God! Look at that.
This guy would just tear you limb from limb. That's what he'll do. He's got the cool belt.
Yeah, Lara Croft belt.
Those knuckles, man. Those claws. The Lara Croft belt. Piers Morgan is a useful idiot. All right, but here we go. Here's some music to go along with it. Get ready.
18, guys, 18.
18. All right, we'll get to over 20 by the time this song is done. There's Daniel, but here we go.
On Tempest, the White Tribe storm unleashed, unstable, unbroken, fearless warriors carved from rage. Prepare for the giveaway. Prepare your Yeti. Prepare your Zaman. They charging with a mind unchained, wild hot thunder running straight through their veins, roaring, snarling, chaos in the snow, and the tempest hunts every enemy. No blood on their teeth and frost in their roar. White Tribe fury kicks down every door. Claws flash bright like lightning in a storm. They tear foes limb from limb. That's the tempest form. No fear, no mercy tonight. When the blizzard wakes, you do not survive the fight. Tempest, White Tribe wrecks the night. Tempest, rage for a frozen light. No screams, the battlefield shakes. The tempest leave nothing in their wake. Badass Yetis on the chain. It's on the chain. Brought to you by badasserycoffee.com.
Badassery.com. Look at that right there. Look, everyone's saying this is mine. Everybody's claiming it. Look at that. We got wallets flying left and right.
Badassery.
Guys, we have 18 in the drawing here. So that, you know what that means? It's time to make a drawing is what it means. Let's do it. Here we go. Jeff, cue the music and I'll get ready to pull the trigger on this puppy and we'll see who the winner is going to be. There we go. There we go. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Who's it going to? Jim D. Jim D. 007. Man. Congratulations, Jim D. Wins that badass Yeti. Holy cats. That's a beautiful one, man. Jim D hasn't won in a while. This is good, Jim D. Congrats. Jim D. Beautiful.
Yeah, talk about ready with the wallet.
Jim D ain't playing. He knows he ain't playing.
It was rigged.
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 Boom. That's a badass mother. I'll tell you right now. Cool, Jim D. Beautiful, baby. That puppy. Jim D with the big winner today. And we are good, dude. This is great. This, by the way, that was the fastest in the history of the show. I'm like, Jim D is the winner. And the next thing you know, boom, there it is. And it was probably even faster than that because as soon as he heard his name, he hit aced.
He's like, boom.
He's you're like, where you like, get it ready. And Jim's the only one that listens, but it pays off when you win.
Want it.
Very good, my man. Very good. Congratulations. That is awesome stuff.
I have to go into YouTube to copy this. So
look at this. I want to put this up. Donald Trump put this up. He was ranking on Peter Schiff. He said, why would Fox and Friends Weekend, of all things, put stockbroker named Peter Schiff, a Trump-hating loser who's already proven to be wrong? Either the show made a mistake or it's headed in a different direction. He thinks prices are going up when, in fact, they're coming substantially down. Gasoline hit $1.99 a gallon yesterday in certain states and is down big since Biden. Other prices are almost all down. Biden caused the affordability crisis. I'm fixing it, along with everything else. Much of it, like the border, is already fixed. Check out the booker who put this jerk on. Trump doesn't mince any words. This is a great, you've never seen anything like this in the history before Trump's speech. And then he posted this one on True Social as well. He said, congratulations to Indiana's tremendous Republican state representatives led by great speaker Todd Houston, bill sponsor Ben Smaltz, and election committee chairman Tim Wesco, who just overwhelmingly voted to pass their new, much fairer and improved congressional map. It was my honor to win Indiana 6 times, including primaries in 2016, 2020, and 2024. And the new map would give the incredible people of Indiana the opportunity to elect 2 additional Republicans in the 2026 midterm elections. The Indiana Senate must now pass this map as is and get victory to Governor Mike Braun's desk ASAP to deliver a gigantic victory for Republicans in the Hoosier state and across the country. I'm hearing that these 9 senators, and some of whom are up for re-election in 2026 and some in 2028, need encouragement to make the right decision. Blake Doria, Brett Clark, Brian Buchanan, Dan Dulick, Ed Charbonneau, Greg Good, Jim Buck, Rick Niermeyer, and Ryan Mishner. Let your voice be heard loud and clear in support of these senators doing the right thing. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I love when he says that. Thank you for your that was something new that he's basically started this. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you for your attention.
It's fantastic. And finally, one thing from Ron DeSantis calling out the Republicans. Well done here.
Be the bullet points. I think it's economy, immigration. Like, we don't talk about immigration as much as we were maybe when Biden was letting it in. The border is secure. We've stopped the influx. He's now working on a moratorium of new people coming in, particularly from some of these countries where the people are hostile. That's a huge victory for people. They need to be talking about that and go even bolder on that. I just think you got to be bold. I think you got to be strong. And I think one of the frustrations with the Congress is, what have they done since August till now? They really haven't done anything, right? And it's like, if I were, I'd be like every day coming out with something new and make the Democrats go on the record, show the contrast. Think about why we've been able to win big in Florida is because there's a very sharp contrast to what we're doing and what these, what the liberal Democrats stand for. Parents' rights, illegal immigration, you know, anything you can think of. Most voters knew we were on their side, and I think you got to really make that sharp. But I would tell you, you know, the Democrats, they caused a lot of this with the inflation, and now they're acting like it was like they had nothing to do with it.
Oh, you do good on the couch. You got to come in more often. I'm sorry.
He does really well on the couch. I mean, I don't know why Ron DeSantis isn't there, but people think like, oh, him and Trump don't get along. Man, he supports Trump 100%. He was great because Trump, his job was to get all the rhino money, all the Bush family and all that stuff. He got all the money. He sat on it. He didn't do anything, and he let Trump rise. That's what it was all about. And people are like, oh, I don't know why he's running against Trump. You guys got to just understand how tactical warfare works, man. You got to understand how strategy works. And people that don't get Trump right now and what he's up to and why he does the moves he makes, people on the right are dumber than rocks. They're like, I don't know why Trump's doing this. Well, maybe you haven't been paying attention the last 11 years because you seem pretty dumb. That's why we break it down for you here and what's going on and what the real inside scoop is. And if you like it, cool. If you don't, keep it to yourself. That's what I always say. Keep your lips sealed.
Hey, Chip, there's 2 things that have happened. One is that it looks like an hour ago, there was a car driven into a Christmas market in France. 10 people were killed and we've seen a ramp up.
I wonder who it was.
Islamic attack on Christmas markets around Europe, which is just outlandish. But then I wanted to play this, short video here. I think this video is important from a perspective, just clear perspective. You might have to mute, otherwise you might get feedback. Make sure this up here. It's really short. This is someone who immigrated from Vietnam, and he's going to talk about Vietnamese immigration.
Since when the fuck did we have to bow down to certain communities? Look, I'm Asian. I'm Vietnamese. Okay, when we have our own communities too, and our communities thriving. You know, we have businesses. We've been here only less than 50 years since after the 1975. Our communities are thriving throughout the United States. If you look at our numbers, there's only about 2 million of us here in the United States. And out of that 2 million people that we have, majority of us have businesses, scientists, engineers, doctors, bright mind people that given back to this country more than we taken. And we have never asked anybody to bow down or speak our language. Okay? Since when the fuck this stupid ass mayor of the little pirate motherfucking land pirate Somalian in Minnesota have to speak their language and apologizing for those motherfucking crook ass pirates? Since when we have to do that? This is just a fucking crook, and he's a Jewish dude. What a shame, you know? What a shame. What the fuck's wrong with him?
You're muted. Unmute.
I hope you drop that in the keep. Is that in the keep at all?
No,
drop it in there now so we make sure that
trying to post something. I just found it.
This is what I was exactly talking about. Look at this. These beautiful Vietnamese immigrants who come here, and you're right, they own businesses, they employ people. This is one of the greatest things. Like, they came here and he said it right on. We give more than we take. That are the kind of people we want coming to the United States. We want people who come in, make a difference, contribute, want to assimilate. And they're great people, man. I mean, I love the Vietnamese. They're phenomenal people. I mean, geez, we need more coming into the country with this mindset. This is it. And it's like people that say, like, oh, Jeff, you're against immigration. No, 100% for it. My wife's an immigrant. I mean, I've got friends that are immigrants, you know, they came in legally. And it really pains me to see some of them who spent years trying to get in the country, and somebody just has some magic that they walked across the border. No, get back in line. And you want to talk about how fair the U.S. is? Trump said self-deport and you get a chance to come back legally. I got news for you. That doesn't exist in any other country. Call Trump what you want. It doesn't exist. And there's not a country that says, hey, by the way, massive broadcast, if you self-deport yourself, if you leave now, you'll be able to come in legally. No. So you want to talk about the U.S. It is fair. It's a fair country. But look, you want to be contributors. You want to come in here. You want to work. You know, we love our immigrant population. You know, legal immigrants that come in here, make this country better. It's what the country was built on. But it wasn't built on people taking, people abusing, people sitting on welfare. You know, and the Hispanics are the same way. They're the hardest working people that I know. You know, and it's so sad when I see that the communities that have been, you know, put off, and a lot of it has to do with the Black community just being totally decimated. Jobs taken, illegals taking jobs over other people, you know, that are citizens of this country, and they can't get jobs. So now there's talking about all these jobs that are available. You know what the new stat is, Jeff? There's all these jobs that they have this huge stat of all these jobs they can't fill. Like, that's a bad thing. The reason they can't fill them was because illegals were taking those jobs over United States citizens. So when you have people in communities where you're like, okay, we'll just put them in this community. Well, why? Why don't you put them with the rich, liberal white people who are behind this? Oh, no, they build walls around their houses. No, they don't. They all love it until they moves into their community. The case in point was up there in Nantucket. Remember when they shipped all the illegals up there? They were gone in 24 hours, man. 24 hours. No. Rich white people communities, nope. No, we love it if you put them into a minority community. We love it if you go ahead and put them and take jobs away from our people. We just don't want to be bothered by it. We don't see it, doesn't exist. But when they did that, then that was one of the greatest illustrations of the rich white people who are the liberals. It's a liberal place. Turns out they don't like it so much when they're living amongst them. They just want them to live somewhere else. Beautifully. Well done, you nut job liberals. That's right. You also get $1,000 if you self-deport. Good point. That's another good point. That was it. Like, who's going to do that? Give you $1,000 to kind of get you on your way so that you just can kind of reset up in your country, right? This is unheard of. It doesn't happen anywhere else. Nobody talks about it. You had the chance to go and get $1,000 and then do the paperwork to come back in. I'm telling you, no other country does that, man.
That's right.
I posted the chip on X. All right, let me pull this right here. Hang on a second. Let me see if this is what you got here. What you got here? Let's see. Where did you post? I'm trying to. Jeff, for some reason, what you posted, the image isn't showing up on Badassery.
Which one?
Congratulations to Jimmy Crackborn for. Yeah, it's not showing up. I don't think it's our problem. I think it's it's their problem. Just the image isn't showing up. It's not us. It's not us. So I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's showing up now. Just had to refresh it there. It was not.
Yes.
I don't see what you posted, man. I'm not seeing your. Oh, here
Where'd
you
it
go.
go?
Hang on. Okay.
I don't
Hang
even
on. I
see
see
it.
it. I see it.
Oh, it says the image is broken.
Yeah, but then I refreshed it and I got it. Well, Crypto World, what are we looking at here? What is? Give me some context behind this. And
Still
a free
broke.
plane ticket, correct? I see what you posted, but what is it? What am I looking at here? Why do I not realize this? Is this the what is this? I don't know what this is.
What is it?
I know it's a nativity scene, but I'm like, what's the context behind it?
Where is it?
It's on my screen, but I was waiting for some context from Crypto World first.
Got it.
Give me some context behind it. I see that it's a nativity scene. This is probably at one of the Christmas. Probably you took this from a Christmas market, maybe. Which is good to see because you don't. People forgot what the real spirit of Christmas is about: the birth of Christ, not about Santa Claus or any of that other stuff. But there it is, right there. So yeah, you got the baby Jesus right there. You got this. There, I can't really see what's going on there.
Can't believe this. This happened. This keeps happening. Stuff.
It's horrible, man. It's just horrible. And then like, people are going to say, like, "Oh, if you say anything bad about it, you're Islamophobe. You're racist."
Come out and say,
How
say it for what it is.
How about people doing stupid shit need to be destroyed? You know what? It's like bring back capital punishment, public hangings.
There you go.
Go to the town square, hang them. Boom. Bottom drops out. Watch them struggle as they lose air.
How come I can't find any news on it? I'm looking for news on it, and there's nothing.
Oh, because they're going to mischaracterize. Like Jeff, I was watching the pipe bomber. Jake Tapper was doing an announcement. He said that the pipe bomber was a white guy. It was like, no, he's not. I'm like, why would you say a black guy is a white guy? Like he's like, obviously he's African American. Like he's like a white guy. Yeah, well, it could be a white guy, but it just in this case it turned out it wasn't. Good Lord, it's getting ridiculous. Christmas stable, yeah, nice. Yeah, nativity, Christmas stable, yeah, very good. Was that at a Christmas market? Where was I? See, it's like
was it recent?
Background.
Said it was 10 hours ago, 11 hours ago.
And there's no news on it?
Nothing.
It's wild.
I'm trying. I got something in India. I don't know what some of these websites are even, where it's coming from. But Guadeloupe, everything was in Guadeloupe.
So I see this in the background, this building. I don't know.
But here's
cool building.
Here's live coverage. It was from like an hour ago. 11. No, this was no, that's not it. That's something different.
We gotta get out of here, Jeff.
They had all the German Christmas markets that have been attacked over time. That was 11 months ago. I can't find anything. Like, it's crazy that I see all these.
Hopefully we can pull something up tomorrow night. We'll see if we can pull something tomorrow, my man.
Yeah, maybe there'll be something. I'm seeing all the attacks on the German Christmas markets last year, but I don't see anything else other than I don't know what DD News is. I don't know what some of these news channels are. Tragedy strikes France's Guadeloupe as a car crashes into a Christmas gathering in St. Anne, killing 10 and injuring several.
Crashes. You know, it just randomly crashed and killed 10 people. Just out of nowhere. Just randomly, oops, crashed. I like how
here's another one. It said it was a drunk driver. So it wasn't actually in France, but it's in Guadeloupe. Here it says a drunk driver plowed into a crowd at Christmas event in Guadeloupe. And there's so much misinformation. I don't know. It's hard to connect all the dots because here they rammed in, there was a drunk driver, but this all happened like 10 hours ago. So it was from last night. Hard to piece it together.
Well, let's have to see what's going on, man.
We'll see.
But anyway, that's all the time we have, guys. We will see you guys tomorrow night. Wednesday night, we got our big interview coming up with Michael Carbonara. He's running against Debris Wasserman Schultz. We'll have that interview for you guys on Wednesday. We'll have some more political figures going into next year. Looking forward to it, guys. Thank you very much for your support. We will see you on the next one. Chip and Jeff out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.